Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the This Is Battlefield 4 multiplayer trailer, and we're going to be doing a breakdown. Now, I've changed up the format this time for the breakdown. Generally, I just play through the whole trailer and point out things that are cool. We have a lot of recycled footage here, and the thing that stands out the most is the footage of the new maps. Now, what I've done is I've cut up the trailer and I've put the footage of the same maps together so we can best analyze each map. Now this footage here is from the map called Operation Locker, and believe it or not, we've actually gotten a little sneak peek at this map before this trailer from a little iPod commander mode overlay. So here's the layout of the map. You can see that it's located in a large snowy mountain range, which is what this screenshot here represents. This could either be the US or Russian side spawn. And then it looks pretty linear. I assume that there's going to be a lot of nice little alternative routes to work your way through in these sort of storage rooms till you get to the center point, which is a circular prison part of the map. Now, the cylindrical style prisons are actually a pretty popular design because it allows the central tower to have visibility on every single prisoner cell. So it basically avoids having to have tons of prison guards. You can just have a small team that can have overview on everybody there. Now you might be saying, LevelCap, how do you know that all these shots are from the same snowy map? Well, you'll see in these tunnels here that there's actually icicles hanging down. A lot of the shots are actually reused. You can recognize the same rooms and stuff, the same style columns and that sort of thing. I think this is going to be a very popular map just because of how infantry centric it looks. Next up, we have footage from the all-new map, Golmud Railway. This looks like a very, very large map. Lots of vehicles. We know we're going to have jets. We know we're going to have helicopters of all kinds. We have the scout helicopters, attack helicopters. That was the T-50 that flew by. We'll look at that in a second. We have tons of tanks, as you can see, like just lines of tanks, anti-air tanks. This is going to be a massive, massive armor-centric map. Now I'm going to freeze frame it here. We're looking at a Chinese J8 on the tail of a Russian Su-25, also known as the Frogfoot. Now the J8 looks like it's definitely outfitted for an air-to-ground type setup here. I mean, it does look like it's got air-to-air missiles as well, but based on the trailer that we're looking at, I believe we're going to be seeing the attack jets and the jets that are more spec'd out for dealing damage to ground targets on the same maps. So to get jet variety will be very interesting. Now, to make sure that armor doesn't stomp the infantry too bad, you can notice here on the minimap that there's a lot of stationary weapons here. I'm sure these are going to be stationary rocket launchers, maybe some machine guns, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a lot of tow missiles flying around the maps to deal with the armor onslaught. Now, we have to give mention to the fact that it looks like fighter jets can drop bombs. Not just the jets that are meant to take out ground targets, but the actual fighter jets. You're going to see a J-20 here fly overhead just as a bomb detonates. In fact, you actually see a different jet from the other angle flying overhead. It's kind of weird. It looks like the same jet, but they're actually two jets when you alternate between the shots. But it does look like the J-20 has got some sort of bomb system. So we haven't seen this since Battlefield 2, where you could drop dummy bombs or maybe even guided bombs. We'll have to see how they work in Battlefield 4. But I really like this addition. It gives jet pilots something else to work on rather than just strafing directly at your targets. If a bomb provides an easier way to take out your targets, but maybe with a riskier flight path, it could be very interesting to see how that works out. This trailer has also put a bigger emphasis on vehicle customization. We see a whole bunch of tanks here with different camos, the exact same kind of tank, but they're now differentiated by their specific color, which I think could actually be very cool in multiplayer, especially when there's a really legit tank driver who's just been up all game and you're like, ah, it's the blue tank, you know, I can never defeat the blue tank. It'll just add that extra way of recognizing your foe on the battlefield. Even the jets get some very cool tiger stripe patterns. My only concern with all this camo addition to the game is that teams might not look as coherent as they did in Battlefield 3. You know, you see an Abrams, it's tan, it's in the desert, you're like, all right, that's a US tank. But now if the Abrams is blue and has tiger stripe patterns and the one next to it is red and also has tiger stripe, and then the Russian tanks also have, you know, the same kind of camo, I think it could add a little bit of confusion to the battlefield. Next up, we have some clips from the Arecibo Observatory. I'm not sure if that's going to be the official name of the map, but that is what the map portrays here. A lot of you probably recognize the map from the same place I do, which is 007 GoldenEye. Now in the film, it looks like the actual radio dish itself is made out of concrete, but in the map here they actually do it accurately where it's hollow underneath, and you can see a lot of action going on beneath the radar dish as well as on top of the radio dish. You'll notice there's also some missing panels from the base of the dish here. I wouldn't be surprised if the entire dish itself is 100% destructible. So that means if you're running on there and somebody shoots out the ground from under you, it looks like you're going to have a bit of a fall. Now this freeze frame here is one of the few images we've had so far of the exterior of the dish. And it looks like there's plenty of places to fight outside of the dish. In fact, if it is a full-scale battlefield map, there's reason to believe that there's an entire jungle to fight in before you even get to the dish. So I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty extravagant and interesting map. I can't wait to see more of it. Now next up we have footage of what I'm calling the Levy map, because it is different from the map with the dam. So if my theory is correct, there's actually two maps that have dams or levees. One of them is going to flood, and the other one, I haven't seen any evidence to suggest that water pours out when it's destroyed. It might be a dam in construction and that the rubble from it breaking down just kind of demolishes buildings nearby. So this freeze frame here is clearly taken in spectator mode, and people have theorized that this was on the Levy map here, but I have a different theory for that. I believe this actually is Gulf of Oman. Now the point is called Hotel. There is a point in Gulf of Oman called Hotel. I believe it's generally classified as G point, but you'll notice if you look outside the windows that there's some palm trees. There aren't really any palm trees on the other maps that were showcased aside from maybe Paracel Storm, but even then there were no buildings like that on Paracel Storm. Of course, it's entirely possible that there's just some other map that this is from, or it's just from a map we've already seen and I've overlooked some details, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're really fleshing out the interiors for buildings on Gulf of Oman. And finally, the last little bit of fun we have from this trailer is showing an ATV coming out of the elevator on Siege of Shanghai on the top floor of the giant skyscraper. So first person to stick C4 on their ATV, drive it off of the top of the skyscraper and take out a helicopter, you know, that's like 1 million views on YouTube right there. So anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for this trailer breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you have some different theories as to what's going on in this trailer. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.